Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this this little glitch that's been buzzing around. So for the last little while, there's a glitch called the text overflow glitch. I don't really know exactly how it works on a technical level, but essentially the way it works for speedrunning and how it could be potentially useful is using this glitch brings up a debug menu that exists in Majora's Mask. Nobody knew this existed until recently. There was a discovery of a debug menu that you could use to give yourself any item. It's crazy. Like, you literally bring up the debug menu and then you maneuver the menu and give yourself everything and then beat the game. And so, it's nuts. But there's a catch. The debug menu, as of right now, unless you use cheats or some kind of hack, can only be accessed by playing Song of Soaring a shit ton of times. It's really funny. So, originally, the first variation of this glitch to pull up a debug menu involved playing the Song of Soaring over 8,000 times, which I believed clocked in around 11, I forget how many hours it is. You could figure it out. It's 11 seconds per Song of Soaring, so that times 8,000 and then convert it to hours and minutes could give you an approximation. It's actually fucked. So, you know, there was a little bit more developments. Well, you know, they didn't play the song 8,000 times. They just played around with the values that playing the song was messing around with. There's a couple of values that get altered every time you play the song, and that's pretty much what's going on. And so when the guy that was messing around was playing around with the values, he figured out that in order to get this particular number, you need to play the song that many times for it to line up without cheats and stuff. Anyway, fast forward a little bit. It was then figured out, I don't know if it was the same person, I think it was a group of people. I'm not exactly sure who altogether figured it out. But, it was then figured out that there was a way to do it where you only had to play the song 2,800 times or something. It was like close to 3,000. So, hey, that's pretty good. They got it down from 8,000 down to almost 3,000. So that's not bad. But it's still a pain in the ass because that amount of time would still end up being slower than just going around and grabbing the stuff normally. Which is, you know, the point is we want to try and find a way to do this so that it doesn't take more time than actually getting stuff. We want it to be faster. So, there was a video posted by someone named Faschz, who's been around for a while, and he's done his fair share of stuff in speedrunning. He found a lot of stuff in Diddy Kong Racing, if you're familiar with that speedrun, but he dabs around in Zelda stuff too, and he figured out a way to do it by only playing the Song of Soaring 208 times, which is hella faster. That was a massive leap. He got it down from 2,800 to 208. So 208 Song of Soarings takes about 35 minutes to play. And if you add all of the other little requirements in order to put it together to complete a run, it would take about an hour to do a full run, which would beat the current world record by about 15 minutes. So that's kind of crazy. So sub 1 hour, actually, in theory, doing that is possible, which is fucking crazy. But there's a catch, again. So, there's a video showing off how it works. I wanted to explain why it's not as simple as just doing a run of this and getting free world record and blah 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 blah. So the reason it's bad is because
Hello.
the Skip, thanks for the 51 monthos. I love you. But let me finish before I lose my train of thought. So basically, the glitch only works on JP 1.0, which is most Japanese N64 carts of Majora's Mask are 1.0. There are a couple of 1.1s, but you could figure out which version it is based on the serial code at the back of the cartridge. There's like a little number that it shows. But it works on 1.0 N64 because you can maneuver the debug menu using the D-pad on an N64 controller. On Wii Virtual Console, the D-pad was never mapped into the game. And so if you access the debug menu on the Virtual Console version, which is what we use to speedrun, there's no way to actually utilize the menu. So you get stuck, which kills it for Virtual Console. It's kind of nuts. If there was a debug if they mapped the D-pad, you'd be able to maneuver the menu and actually give yourself items and whatever. But because you can't do that, it renders Virtual Console useless for this. The testing that was done for the glitch was obviously done on an emulator, and it does not crash the game on emulator if you try to do this. But yesterday, somebody tested it on a JP 1.0 N64 cartridge, and the trick actually crashes after the 7th, I think it's the 17th or 7th song. I forget which one it is. In order to access the debug menu, you need to do a frame perfect A pause or A button press while holding a specific like unit of direction on the control stick that I believe is unit precise, like perfectly precise. You can't be off by anything. So it's almost impossible for a human being to do that, so I don't even think this method would be RTA viable, which means real-time attack. Like, you wouldn't be able to do it in an actual speed run. That one thing alone would be the barrier that kills every run, because it's like such a stupid input. That kind of sucks. Anyway, people are saying, would it be faster for the other categories and stuff? It really depends, because you would have to find out if it's faster to run the other categories on an N64, since you can't do that on Wii Virtual Console. It's actually also possible to do it on Wii U, but there's horrible loading times and significant input lag on that console, which makes it kind of bad to do runs on that. So I don't even think it might be viable on Wii U, but it is possible to execute it on Wii U. And in order to preserve the integrity of most categories, like all masks, all fairy rewards, 100%, a source requirement rule would probably be added to everything, which is so that you can't do the debug menu in order to do the run. You know, you have to play the game and actually get the items from their intended locations and all that shit. But it's pretty interesting, man. I'm excited about it. Any percent that we currently know, it would probably go through a name change and be changed to all dungeons, which is pretty hilarious. That's like something we used to joke around like years ago, saying like, oh my god, if Moonwarp gets found, we'll make an all dungeons category, blah blah blah. But now it looks like down the road this might actually be a thing, because I feel like it's only a matter of time before they find how to do this trick without it crashing. So that's the whole situation. If you want to see the video and you're watching on YouTube, check the description. You'll be able to find the video to Faschz's explanation of the glitch and how to pull it off, and you'll see the debug menu and stuff like that. Because credit goes to him. I didn't want to take it without his permission.